The story begins in London with a boy named Quinn. At the end of the day, he goes to meet his mother, Karen, at a subway station under construction. Karen supervises the workers, and Quinn shows her a letter with bad news. His scholarship has been suspended, making school too expensive. Just then, a worker arrives, warning of a problem below. The drilling has hit a hollow area no one knew existed. Driven by curiosity, Quinn crawls through the hole and enters the mysterious space. Suddenly, the ground catches fire, and the cave walls start to move. To his horror, he realizes it's a massive creature. The thing spits in his face, and Quinn scrambles out in terror, trying to explain to his mother what he saw. Karen panics at the sight of her son's face and rushes to wash it, ignoring his words. Only now do the workers realize something is terribly wrong. The entire subway structure shakes as the monster spews fire through the tunnels. Karen, desperate, grabs Quinn and rushes to the elevator. Quinn keeps insisting there's something in the cave, and soon, proof appears, a giant dragon. It violently shakes the elevator, causing Karen to hit her head and succumb to her injuries. Unfortunately, this was just the first of many dragons. Soon, the winged monsters dominate the planet. Scientists discover they were responsible for burning the dinosaurs, with their ashes causing the Ice Age. The truth is, dragons hibernate underground, waiting for a new species to multiply. When food is plentiful, they emerge to feed, this time on humans. All efforts to stop them fail. Even nuclear weapons devastate cities without deterring the dragons. 18 years later, humanity has been nearly wiped out, and even the dragons are starving. Now an adult, Quinn lives in an abandoned castle on the Scottish border with a group of survivors. Most respect him as their leader, but life is harsh, and not everyone follows the rules. When food runs low, a man named Eddie decides to take a group to harvest crops early. Quinn is warned in time and stops them at the gates. He argues that harvesting too soon will ruin future crops. Eddie counters, saying there won't be a future if they starve now. As tensions rise, Quinn's best friend, Creedy, arrives. Hearing Eddie ask if the castle is a prison, he explains that everyone is free to leave, but if they do, they can never return. This temporarily defuses the situation. Later, Quinn and Creedy put on a homemade version of Star Wars to entertain the castle's children. Before bed, the community recites a prayer, not a traditional one, but a series of questions and answers teaching what to do if they see a dragon at night. Meanwhile, Eddie steals the keys and wakes his friend, Michael, telling his wife to keep quiet. A few others join them, sneaking out in a vehicle. That night, Quinn wakes to the whistling wind and finds little Liam in the hallway, scared. The boy asks if it's a dragon's whistle. Quinn assures him it's just the breeze, but lets him stay until his fear passes. At the same time, the castle sentry, Barlow, notices birds acting strangely and gets up to check. In the fields, Eddie's group feasts on stolen tomatoes. But then, Barlow spots something in the sky. He sounds the alarm. Eddie panics as a dragon descends, spewing fire. He rushes to save his family, his wife, Rachel, and son, Devin, barely escape. Michael suffers burns, and another man, Matt, doesn't survive. As they recover, the dragon returns, destroying their vehicle and surrounding them in flames. Despite everything, Quinn and Creedy refuse to abandon Eddie. They arrive in a military vehicle and offer a ride. Devin mans the automatic weapon, but this costs him his life when the dragon attacks. Back at the castle, Quinn refrains from fighting Eddie, knowing he just lost his son. But the situation is now dire. The crops are gone. The next day, AJ picks up voices on the radio. Moments later, Barlow sounds the alarm again as tanks approach. The men arm themselves, but ammunition is running low. Creedy feels conflicted. While the newcomers could be a threat, he's relieved to see other humans. However, his relief fades when he realizes they're Americans. Their leader, Van Zan, claims they arrived in a rebuilt plane but lost over 100 men in the landing. He asks for shelter until the next night. Quinn is skeptical, reminding Van Zan that the sky belongs to the dragons now. But Van Zan confidently rejects this and shows off a dragon tooth trophy. He explains they discovered the creature's weak spot. Their vision blurs at twilight. Impressed, Quinn allows them in, though Creedy mocks the idea of Van Zan as a dragon slayer, since the last confirmed kill was nearly 18 years ago. However, even Creedy is silenced when a helicopter appears overhead. Van Zan introduces their pilot, Alex Jensen. She explains their elite team, the Archangels, jumps without parachutes to lure dragons into traps. Creedy laughs at the idea of catching a dragon in a net, but Alex doesn't find it amusing. Quinn remains cautious. That night, as he and Alex talk in the kitchen, she asks about Jared, the boy always by his side. Quinn explains that years ago, he and Creedy found Jared, a 3-year-old trying to wake his dead mother. They couldn't leave him behind. Alex remarks that most men would have walked away, praising Quinn's kindness. He seizes the moment to ask why the American soldiers are really here. Not falling for the trap, Alex tells him to ask Van Zan. Just then, Barlow sounds the alarm again. Quinn is embarrassed by his crude warning system compared to the Americans' military efficiency. Within seconds, their helicopter is airborne, trucks are moving, and motorcycles are spreading out to track the dragon. Tonight, Alvarez is the bait. He and two others, Gideon and Jefferson, take position. Suddenly, the dragon appears behind the helicopter. Van Zan grows tense. One of their 3 tracking points is missing. Quinn spots the problem. The third motorcyclist has fallen. Despite the risk, he rushes up the mountain to take the missing position. But as soon as he does, the dragon strikes. Alvarez jumps without warning. The dragon dives after him. Gideon and Jefferson fire a net, but it doesn't hold. Lost in the clouds, Alvarez doesn't see the dragon until it's too late. He's incinerated midair. With the bait gone, the dragon turns on Gideon. He crashes to the ground. Hearing everything on the radio, Quinn and Van Zan quickly devise a plan B. Quinn himself will be the bait. Galloping at full speed, he lures the dragon into Van Zan's line of fire. The commander nearly shoots Quinn but lands a direct hit on the dragon. It lets out a final burst of fire before crashing into the castle courtyard. Van Zan wastes no time collecting another trophy. That night, the community celebrates. But Van Zan, misty-eyed, ends the joy, shouting that there's nothing to celebrate. 3 men died to kill just 1 dragon. Quinn doesn't argue. He attends the soldiers' cremation but reminds Van Zan that this is his home, where he has buried many people. This time, he demands the truth. Van Zan finally shares their mission. He and Alex have killed over 200 dragons, all female. Their theory? There is only 1 male fertilizing them all. If they kill him, the species will collapse. Through careful study, they believe this male is in London. Quinn refuses to help. He knows that anyone who has gone to London attracts more dragons on the way back, dooming their refuges. He won't risk his community. This sparks a heated fight between them. Alex asks if something happened in London. Quinn tells him about Karen's death and hints that the dragon that killed her was the male. Their conversation is suddenly interrupted by AJ, who warns Quinn that Van Zan is giving a speech in the castle courtyard and has already enlisted 4 people to go to London with him. Furious, Quinn storms in and punches Van Zan in the jaw, starting a fight. The other Americans quickly intervene to break it up. Afterward, Alex feels sorry for Quinn and gives him a bottle of medicine for his injuries, while Van Zan continues choosing more people for his mission. Later, Quinn catches Jared trying to sneak away to join the Americans. He pleads with the boy to reconsider, promising to pass leadership of the castle to him as planned. But Jared says none of that matters anymore. He wants to be an archangel. As Van Zan's team sets off for war against the male dragon, Quinn focuses on gathering what remains. Jared eventually returns, admitting he changed his mind. When he complains about the smell of the dead beast, Quinn tells him it's the only scent dragons hate, so to him, it's like perfume. That night, Quinn inspects the fallen dragon and finds an egg inside, confirming it was a female. Meanwhile, Van Zan's convoy reaches London, only to find piles of rubble left by past groups who tried and failed to reclaim the city. Just then, a burst of fire cuts through the darkness. Realizing they have no time to triangulate the target, Van Zan orders an immediate attack. His team obeys, albeit reluctantly. Seconds later, the male dragon strikes, engulfing the convoy in flames. Back at the castle, AJ hears frantic radio calls and realizes something terrible has happened. Alex rushes back to the wreckage and finds Van Zan among the few survivors. Devastated, Van Zan confirms that the male dragon annihilated them in a single pass. Recalling Quinn's warning about the dragon's retaliation, he suddenly realizes the castle is in danger. Outside, Quinn witnesses the dragon unleash a firestorm, blowing out an entire side of the castle. Without an alarm, panic erupts as people flee in chaos. By the time Quinn reaches the gate, the castle is ablaze, and the dragon perches triumphantly on top. He waits for the beast to leave, then rushes inside, calling for his friends. Jared appears with a fire extinguisher, followed by Creedy. Together, they carry the children to the basement. When Quinn tries to go back upstairs for the others, Creedy volunteers to go instead. At that moment, the dragon attacks again. Quinn barely has time to say goodbye before Creedy is consumed in a cloud of fire. The door slams shut, and Quinn pounds on it in despair but forces himself to stay strong for the children. Hours later, Van Zan and Alex return with the remaining soldiers to help survivors out of the basement. Van Zan admits Quinn was right. The entire castle is in ruins. But that doesn't mean he's giving up. To his surprise, Quinn changes his mind, deciding to face his trauma once and for all. Leaving Jared in charge, he proposes a new plan. At dusk, the trio boards a helicopter, using twilight as cover to follow the Thames into the heart of London. The city is devastated and overrun with dragons. Even Alex thinks it's madness to continue, but Quinn insists he knows London's underground better than anyone, giving them a small advantage. Suddenly, the dragons begin to stir, not attacking, just restless. Then, the male dragon appears in the sky and devours one of the females. Starving for so long, it has turned to cannibalism. Unintentionally, this works in the trio's favor as the terrified females flee. Taking advantage of the opening, they move through the tunnels, reaching the subway where Karen died. The plan is simple: lure the male dragon and hit it with explosive arrows until one strikes its chest. On the surface, Van Zan splits the team to increase their chances. But Quinn soon realizes he lost the arrows. Alex, usually fighting from above, is terrified to be alone on the battlefield. Van Zan shouts instructions from a tower, pushing her to find courage. The dragon charges straight at her, staying in Van Zan's sights until it suddenly veers toward him. He fires, but the beast neutralizes his arrow with an explosive breath. Knowing he won't get another chance, Van Zan leaps to his death with a war cry, swallowed whole by the dragon. Shocked, Quinn and Alex abandon the plan and regroup. The dragon, slightly wounded but recovering fast, resumes spitting fire. During the chaos, Alex spots one of the lost arrows and shows it to Quinn. He rushes over, preparing for a final shot. With time running out, Alex sprints in front of the dragon, firing wildly to distract it. Finally, Quinn gets his chance. As the dragon opens its mouth to unleash fire, Quinn releases the arrow, striking directly inside. The beast explodes before it can attack. Staring at the dead alpha dragon, Quinn is overwhelmed, not just by victory, but by the weight of everything that led him here. 3 months later, Quinn is helping build a radio tower when Jared rushes over. They've picked up a signal from France. Survivors want to speak with the leader. Quinn tells Jared to go back and answer. He's ready to lead. So that's it. Hope you enjoy the story. Subscribe and press the bell icon for more videos.